Good morning. It's a nice, brisk, cool morning this morning. And it's so good to see Esther back there. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about darkness that is so thick you can feel it. Exodus 10:21 through 23 says, "Then Adonai said to Moses, 'Stretch out your hand toward heaven, and there will be darkness over the land of Egypt, a darkness that may be felt.' So Moses stretched out his hand toward heaven, and there was a thick darkness in all the land of Egypt for 3 days. They could not see one another, nor could anyone rise from his place for 3 days. Yet all Bnei Israel had light within their dwellings." What does it mean in the scriptures when it talks about a thick darkness? A darkness you can touch. Isn't dark? Yes, I understand the night, but there still seems to be a glimmer of light somewhere in the darkness. In the city of Staunton, where we live, there's always seems to be light source of some kind. You have street lights, car lights, flashlights, etc. Seldom is it pitch dark there. I guess the closest thing I've experienced to a physical total darkness, if you can call it that, happened this year when I was traveling to work. We had freezing fog during the night, and while traveling the next morning, I did not see anything out of the ordinary when I left home. I drove slower but did not see any of the ice that they said it might have caused. As I approached to Mount Sydney, it's a small little town outside of Staunton, I topped a small little hill going up into the town, and just as I did, a thick fog engulfed me. I could not see anything. Oncoming traffic, cars in front of me, nothing. People walking across the road. There was nothing. I could see nothing, absolutely nothing. There's a feeling of fear and panic that overcomes you as you drive through this dense thickness of cloud. I could not even see the headlights of oncoming traffic. I could not see the road or any black ice that may have been there. I have not seen anything quite like it in my time traveling back and forth to Bridgewater. I think the emotions and feelings were the scariest thing. There was a feeling of helplessness, fear, and not knowing what was facing me. I just wanted it to end. I just wanted someone to come and take the wheel and get me through it. Darkness comes in different forms. Physically, when you cannot see with the natural eye, and spiritually, when you've severed ties with your relationship with God. Unfortunately, I can now say I've experienced both in my lifetime. I'm not proud of the time I walked away from God, but it's an experience that I'll never forget, which keeps me from traveling the same road again. The Egyptians were faced with both also. Spiritually, they were living in the darkness of idolatry, worshiping other gods. They were defiant and wanted nothing to do with the God of Israel. God forced on them a darkness that no one wants to encounter. Each family lost a loved one that night in Egypt. What about the children of God? That same night, their homes were filled with light. Yes, they were covered by the blood from the Passover lamb, which they put on their doorpost, but they were not exempt from the plague of darkness. They had a light within them that overcame the plague, but they could still hear the cries of Egypt. My takeaway today concerning the terrible night is we must find a way to see people in their darkness, even when the darkness overcomes their sense of light. We must open our eyes and be witnesses to the bleakness. For however terrible it is to suffer, it is more so to suffer alone. Secondly, we must find within ourselves the same inner light that illuminated the Israelites when the rest of the world was in darkness, so we can shine among our brothers and sisters who are suffering and do not know God, our light. My ask of you this week is to seek the true light. Stay full of His word so others may see the hope you have in the Lord and that they will follow Him. Shabbat Shalom.